Right, Richard, thank you very much for joining me. You've obviously had an exceptional career, and I want to start this interview off by doing a little bit of jet setting. So I'm going to kick it off in Moscow, Russia. Can you tell me a little bit about that fantastic performance you put in back in 2011?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It just happens. You don't really understand why or how it happens, and everything seems to fall your way and everything like that. So I think previous to that, we'd drawn a game on the Friday night or something back in Dublin, 0-0, and sort of we felt it might have scuppered our chances of getting into a qualifier. So we obviously were all well focused, thinking Russia's the toughest game in the group, and we need to put in a performance. And thankfully, in terms of a defensive performance, I got obviously probably the headlines and stuff like that, but the whole team was just incredible. There's just everyone throwing their bodies in the way, and Shay Given, Darrow Day, everyone was just doing everything they could as opposed to stop it. And yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that happened to me is just as a defender, you just throw your body in the way and hope that it hits you. And luckily on that occasion it did. So yeah, it's obviously a nice memory, but yeah, there was no secret to it. It was just you just do your best and hopefully that it comes off. And on that occasion it did.
Yeah, it was definitely a great night for you. And another one that will live along in the memory is the performance you put in against Portugal in Lisbon, where you had to deal with Luis Figo. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like to deal with him?
Yeah, I mean that was a really good Portugal team. And to come up against, I suppose, one of the best players in the world at the time was, yeah, it's obviously an honour, but it gets you, it sharpens your brain, I suppose, a little bit because you know if you're not on form, you can get found out pretty quickly. We had a really good side ourselves, so we didn't fear anyone at that time, and yeah, it just turned into. I mean, for us, it was a good result to come away with a draw, and yeah, it was part of a really good campaign that we done really well, and there was quite a few good performances all the way through it.
Yeah, and then heading out to Saipan. Can you tell me a little bit about your memories of the Roy Keane situation there and the World Cup as a whole?
I mean, there's nothing really I can add to what's already been. I think they've made a film and everything out of it now, so it was one of those things. I was quite young in terms of the players that we had in that squad at the time. There was a lot of senior players and a lot of people, other people who dealt with that situation. For myself, it was probably just more of a disappointment that Roy didn't get to play in the World Cup, and whatever his issues were his issues, and we yeah we got on, and suppose we done as well as we could. We were unfortunate to get knocked out eventually, but the whole incident was something that was played out. But as footballers, you just move on and get ready for the next game. So as quick as it happens, you move on. Someone else takes his place, and you just hope to perform as good as you can.
Roy Keane's a legend, but another legend who I've heard that you say you enjoyed playing against is Alan Shearer. Why did you love playing against Alan Shearer so much?
In terms of like the best strikers that I've played against, I thought Alan Shearer was right up there with them all. I think obviously his goal record proves how good he was, but he was uh, he was a player that you always felt you could battle with, and he was fair, he would fight, he was tough. And yeah, he just had a knack of scoring goals. So he was a player like I really appreciate. I thought still is one of the greatest Premier League players of all times, and probably doesn't get the recognition, even though he's got all the goals. People talk about Drogba and Henry and other players, but Alan Shearer has been the one who's proven himself. And yeah, like I say, I never enjoyed playing against him in terms of I thought it'd be an easy day. I enjoyed playing against him because I knew it would be a good battle. But unfortunately, like he did with most centre backs, he generally scores. So he came off the pitch always the happier man, I suppose.
And another striker you played against, Robbie Keane. Apparently, there was one game where you mounted a bit of a comeback and he had a conversation with you right before you obviously ended up winning the game. Could you remember what he said to you?
I think just not too long before we came back, I think Man United, I think they were 3-0 up against United, and United beat them 5-3. So they had this little thing at Tottenham, which is probably still there today, where that self doubt gets into them. And I think Robbie was obviously a highly intelligent player, and he knew the game. He knew what was coming, and he could see things before they happened. And I think we were chatting and he just goes, "You'll win this," because we got a goal back or a second goal back, and they started to panic a little bit at the back, and they just couldn't seem to get out. And yeah, right enough, we ended up we didn't have much belief and much hope that we could get back into it, but we almost just found ourselves falling back into the game. And yeah, by the end of it, like we didn't. I wouldn't say that we were incredible and we steamrolled at Tottenham. We only had 10 men, but we just managed to find a way to get back into the game. And eventually it was Tottenham really who crumbled. And I think their fans were on their back. Everything was going against them. And yeah, it was just, I think, a little bit of what Tottenham were like and probably are still today, that they just feared the worst, I think. And yeah, luckily we were the ones that could take over.
Absolutely. And you were obviously an exceptional player, and somebody who recognised that was Micah Richards, who said you were right up there with Terry and Ferdinand. So can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Micah?
Yeah, Micah was obviously a young lad coming into the team, with the potential to be what he did become. I suppose he became an England international and a top player. But as when you play your career, I suppose you see a lot of young players coming and going at different periods. But when Michael came up and started training with us, he was just on a different planet in terms of his athleticism. He could nearly jump over a crossbar. He could run like the wind. He was incredible. He had a little bit of everything. And for me, as I was getting older, to play alongside someone like that who had all the physical attributes of probably one of the best physical attributes and specimens in the Premier League at the time, it was a joy. And Micah just needed to learn the game, and I was the experienced one. Like when I started out, I had Dave Watson who at Everton who talked me through games and helped me. And I was fortunate enough to be able to play alongside Micah and be I suppose a little bit of a guide for him to learn the game, because as you're a young player coming in, you're always the best player in your youth team. You know everything. You're quicker than everyone, stronger than everyone. But when you play first team, there's clever players. There's different stuff that you have to learn, and it takes a little bit of time. But Micah was, yeah, just an outstanding footballer, and he was unfortunate that injuries, I suppose, cut his career short.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience playing in the last Maine Road derby?
Yeah, I mean, when we played United back in the days, United were the best team in the world, probably. They had the best players. They were used to winning the Premier League. They were winning the treble not too long before that. And it was, I suppose, a pride thing for ourselves and also for the City fans more than that. And that it's the last time that they're going to come to the Maine Road. It was something that we wanted to have as a memory, I suppose. And yeah, it was Sean Gower on the day who was the main man who got a couple of goals, and yeah, just gave us something. But the atmosphere and the whole occasion was just incredible, and it was just Maine Road's long gone now, but it lives fondly, I think, in everyone's memories. And that is, when you think about it, certainly for my generation of players, that's the game probably that comes up most.